Imagine going to a hospital, trusting the care and security of its walls, only to find that someone vanishes without a trace. What if one moment they were there, alive and well, and the next they're gone? Welcome back to Macabre Mondays, where mystery meets the macabre with your favorite deadly duo. I'm Ale.
I'm Tom.
Your guides through the strange, the sinister, and the spooky. Today, we are diving into the chilling, strange, and eerie disappearance of Teteteke Gqotsi. Have you heard of this story before, Tom?
I have not.
Ooh, I'm so excited.
But I'm assuming, based off your intro, it must have to do with a hospital.
Okay.
And this guy.
Teteteke, you may ask.
Yeah.
Well, Teteteke Gqotsi, which, by the way, I think I might be pronouncing that wrong, so I'm sorry about that. But Teteteke Gqotsi was a father of 6, a grandfather, and a man loved by many in his townships of Kayamandi and Stellenbosch, South Africa. At 61, Teteteke had spent a life full of ups and downs, facing every challenge with strength and a quiet resolve. Family was incredibly important to him, and he was a familiar, comforting figure to his loved ones. You could say he was the kind of person who knew how to survive hardships. He had been doing this his entire life. In 2017, Teteteke began experiencing severe abdominal pain. This wasn't just a mild ache. It was ongoing and intense enough that he knew something was wrong. His family was worried, urging him to seek medical help, and eventually he did. Doctors at Stellenbosch Hospital diagnosed him with a condition that required surgery. Though the exact details of his diagnosis haven't been disclosed, it was clear that he needed medical intervention. His family was hopeful this would finally relieve his pain and get him back to a life that he once enjoyed. So, what happened on October 5th of 2017, you may ask, Tom?
I might ask. What happened on that day?
Teteteke checked into the Stellenbosch Hospital for what was supposed to be a routine abdominal surgery. Now, this area of South Africa that was called Stellenbosch is known to be one of the richest towns around there. So very wealthy, very upscale. The operation went smoothly, and his family was relieved, thinking he'd be back home soon. Once he was in the recovery room, he could finally begin his healing process. He would be scheduled to stay there for what could be a couple of days to 2 weeks. He was relying on the hospital staff to take care of him since, after his abdominal surgery, he won't really be able to walk or do much without much help. His family would come to visit him the day of the surgery, and it seemed that the surgery was a success.
Now, question.
What?
Is this the first time he's been to this hospital?
Well, there's really no, reports if he's been there or not, but if he...
Well, because that was what I was thinking. It was like, okay, you got a guy that's
you're
obviously
already thinking.
Well, yeah.
You have no idea what this
I don't know what's
about.
going on.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, typically you have some type of rapport already with hospital or something.
Could be, yes.
Because, especially if you're going to have surgery, you don't just randomly show up and be all like, one surgery, please. And they just immediately administer. Usually you know a doctor or something.
Right, or you've gone before for something,
you're like
right?
part of their practice.
Well, he ended up going to get help because he was having like a lot of abdominal pain, right? So yeah, it pretty much leading up to it, they probably knew that he was coming for the surgery and was doing all this stuff. So let's just leave it at that. There's not much details prior. There's gonna be you'll see as I keep going. So his family would come to visit him the day of the surgery, and it seemed that the surgery was a success. He's probably sore and pain, he just had abdominal surgery. But just a few days into his recovery, on October 7th, something disturbing happened. One night, a nurse came into Teteke's room to check on him. He seemed to be doing just fine, talking normally. So she just lets him know, hey, I'm going to briefly step away so then I can get some fresh bed sheets, right? Typical, normal. Yeah. She's doing her job. So she leaves the room from the one door that the room has to exit and enter. There's only one door. So think about your typical hospital room, right?
In and out.
In and out. But when she returned not too long after, Teteteke wasn't in his bed. He was gone. She thought, oh, maybe he's in the bathroom. Who knows? Maybe he walked out into the hallway. Maybe I just missed him or something, right? I mean, sometimes patients can get disoriented, right?
Yeah.
But then she goes ahead and she checks the bathroom. He wasn't there either. Trying to see if she could check the room thoroughly. checking up in the closet, under the bed. Maybe, who knows?
I mean, how far away could this guy have gotten? Because he's got to be hooked up to like an IV machine,
he's what, like 2 days out fresh of surgery. Correct. And remember, he really can't get up without any help because he needs help just to get up.
Yeah.
So she ends up alarming the staff, and they check every hallway, they check every room, they call out for him, but he's nowhere to be found. Now, this is just odd, like we're talking about, because if you think about it, she wasn't gone from the room that long, or even saw him leave the room. Plus, he just had that surgery. If he even did get up, how would he have? And also, if he needed to move around, there's just no way. Yeah. He couldn't even stand up on his own from the surgery.
I mean, if you've ever been in a hospital, you're at least hooked up to like some type of saline pump.
Right.
That also is running pulse and everything else. So,
well, again, this is in South Africa, so I'm not entirely sure how the hospital conditions are there. But this seems to be one of the...
it's a rich area.
Then. Right. No, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Could be that. But that just goes to show that is really odd, right?
So weird.
He also wouldn't be like running anywhere because if you think about it,
he just had surgery.
He can't even get up apparently. So, as she alarms the staff, the tension continues to grow. Now, the odd part is that the staff initially did not proceed to search him with like much urgency, nor in a manner that you would think a hospital would act if a patient of theirs goes missing.
I mean, to be fair, if it was me, I'd probably be like, hey, we definitely need to figure out where this guy is.
Right.
But he's an adult.
Yeah, but he's...
I know. Hear me out, though. Hear me out.
Listening.
He's an adult. Who knows? He probably went for a walk. Let's look for him, but no need to panic yet. That would be my initial... And maybe that's me trying to talk my anxiety down of, I'm getting fired.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that. I'm sure those were thoughts. I mean, That is huge. The fact that one of your patients goes missing, that's huge. But after they tried searching for him, instead of immediately notifying the police or initiating a much more intensive search across hospital grounds, the response appeared to be pretty delayed and less urgent than expected, which obviously raises concerns about neglect or oversight.
Safety.
Right. And safety. Some people think, maybe they could have been embarrassed. How do we lose a patient? Thinking, like you said, let's just find them before, maybe we get bad press. Who knows? But you got to think about it. If you're already looking for him and he's like nowhere to be found.
Eventually there should be a time to start panicking.
Right. So then they search for Teteteke all day. The next day, that day, they still come up empty-handed. 2 days, they look for him. Still come up empty-handed.
Hold on. 40? And they're still cash about it?
Cash about it, right? Yo. But not until 48 hours later do they actually call to notify his family.
I'm sorry. Okay, 2 questions here.
Because I might answer them in the next paragraph.
Well, we'll figure it out. 1, family wasn't visiting just to check up on him?
They visited him on surgery day. If you think about it, this has only been 2 days. Well, yeah, but not everybody is able to go every day.
Sorry, I'm needy.
Yeah, I can tell.
Secondly.
What was your second question?
Secondly, it took you 2 days to notify your family?
I know. Well, also, you got to think about it. They haven't even notified the police yet.
Even if he was just casually hanging out.
So, you're going to laugh because when they called the family, they kind of casually asked, like, hey, has Teteteke been home?
Sorry. Hey, your guys' relative, your family member, the one that just had abdominal surgery that looked like he was in probably a lot of pain. Yeah, did he by chance show up at home? We just, funny story, we don't know where he is.
So, literally. But of course he hasn't. And they're like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, hell no, he's not here, you weirdos. So this is pretty much how they end up learning that he went missing. This obviously raised immediate questions about why the hospital staff hadn't not thoroughly searched the premises or promptly escalated the matter to the hospital security and to the local authorities, right? Like, you're calling me asking me, hey, has he been home? But you have yet to even call the cops. So from my research, it was said that his family was actually the one that called the police once they found out.
I would have been too.
Right, but other resources state that the hospital also called. But
of course,
all in all,
hospital are going to cover their butts.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not entirely sure which one did happen or didn't. Yeah. But all in all, what matters is that they finally called, right? Finally, the police is alarmed. So his family expressed complete disbelief that Teteteke, who was in this compromised state and unable to walk without aid, could just simply vanish from a supposedly secure environment. The family was worried that he needed medical supervision and could have been disoriented or at risk to himself if he attempted to leave the hospital. The family then heads to the hospital themselves, and for the next few days, the police, the staff, and even his family, everyone goes on a search. They search on the grounds of the hospital, in the nearby neighborhoods, anywhere all around that he could have possibly been. But still, nothing. They found no trace of him whatsoever anywhere. I mean, how far could he have gone, right? With having fresh abdominal surgery, not being able to walk or move without help. Now, unfortunately, the search comes to an end, and his family is left with no answers, no bodies, no clues, no Teteteke.
I'm sorry. This is... There's no... Do we know for a fact, was he hooked up to an IV machine?
Oh my God.
Because I'm sorry,
No,
that's the one thing I'm hooked up on.
I'm telling you, there's a lot to this story that there's just no answers on. There's really, and that's one of them. Nothing comes up in the very little articles and videos that I could find.
Did he have money?
All right. But then 15 days later, on October 20th, came a shocking and gruesome discovery. During a routine maintenance check, as the workers enter the areas for their renovations, one of them heads up to the ceiling. The maintenance worker then flashes his light up there, and when he moves his flashlight around, he notices something that only you see in movies. They stumbled upon a body in the ceiling of the building. It was Teteteke, wedged within the hospital's infrastructure in a hidden crawl space. Now, this attic isn't accessible to anyone else really, other than maintenance or construction workers. But authorities, the workers, notified hospital administration immediately, who then finally, they called the authorities to come and investigate. And after those 2 weeks, the body was already in an advanced state of decomposition. I'll continue.
Let's continue because I got questions.
Oh, yes. Authorities confirmed the body was Teteteke Gqotsi. His body's placement inside a restricted area of the hospital's ceiling left everyone stunned. How could a patient that was admitted for medical care have ended up there? How could he have even gotten himself up there without a ladder, without any help? He couldn't even stand up without anyone. And let alone, how could he move that quickly without being noticed?
Thank you.
Yes.
Those are my questions.
Now, the family was immediately contacted by the authorities after the body's discovery. Words cannot...
Oh, now.
They're like, all right, we found him.
We found him. Don't worry. It's all good.
Words cannot begin to describe their devastation. They had trusted that he was in care of a hospital and believed that the search efforts would find him. But 2 weeks went by with no urgency, no answers until this. Now, Teteke's family demanded an explanation from the hospital, from the staff, from anyone who could finally clarify what happened during those critical hours between when he was last seen on October 5th and the discovery on October 20th. And honestly, could you blame them, really? Now, there's little information on what all the autopsy showed, but it was ruled that he had died of natural causes. His family stated to the press that the hospital told them that something must have happened to him, but don't know what it could have been, and that he must have died before he was found in the ceiling. There's really no record of the hospital saying this, only that it was told to the family, but no one really knows. And in the end, that's all the answers Teteke's family really received. And since then, the hospital's practices, especially regarding patient safety and security protocols, have come under public scrutiny. Many are questioning the delay in reviewing security footage, because that's another thing. They didn't even see him on there, and they didn't bother to look at the security footage immediately. The lack of immediate response when he was reported missing, and how the hospital communicated, or rather, failed to communicate, with the family throughout the whole ordeal. So what really happened to Teteteke Gqotsi, right? How could a man in a hospital bed vanish, only to be found weeks later above the very place that he was meant to be kept safe? As the investigation unfolds, we're left with more questions than answers, and the chilling reminder that sometimes the places meant to heal us can also hold dark, unresolved mysteries. Now, what makes this case even more chilling is that Teteke's story wasn't the only one to leave many more questions than answers. Because just a year later, on October 20th of 2019, not the same year, but the same day, a 53-year-old man named Sibiya, I might be saying that wrong, His body was discovered in a grim and puzzling state at the Durban's Mahatma Gandhi Memorial Hospital. This area is also located in a very nice place of South Africa, as well, just like Stellenbosch, where Teteteke was from. Initially, Sandile was admitted to the hospital on May 10th of 2019 for a broken femur, which, for those who don't know, because I just learned, it's your thigh bone.
I was just gonna say that's an intense break.
Right, because if you break your thigh bone, you're not going nowhere. You're not moving nowhere.
Nope. Same thing as abdominal.
Nothing's moving. Exact same thing as abdominal. So Sandile had been scheduled for a straightforward transfer to another facility to see an orthopedic specialist. However, when the doctors came into his room a few days later to help transport him, he was missing.
Oh, Lord. Same hospital?
No, different hospital. He was now in Durban's Memorial Hospital.
Are they connected hospitals? Like, is it a chain? Like,
no. You're trying
doctor?
to make a connection here. Just wait. But this hospital was known for their very tight security. They immediately contacted police and began an extensive and public search to look for him. Very different from the Stellenbosch hospital protocol.
You don't say.
So, however, despite searches by hospital staff and police, he remained unfounded for days, prompting the hospital to file a missing persons report with the South African Police Service.
That is just wild to me. My one question so far out of all this.
So far, because you've had like 10.
Well, you know what?
No, that's fine.
So the viewers.
I encourage questions.
I'm the viewer. I'm here for the people.
Okay.
I'm here for the people to ask the questions that we want to know.
Okay.
You're telling me you got 2 hospitals, 2 sets of security cameras.
Right.
And nobody saw anyone besides hospital staff go in and out of these rooms that have one way in, keep in mind.
Mm-hmm.
One way in, one way out.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's what I'm telling you. Let me continue.
All right.
However, despite searches by hospital staff and police, he remained unfound for days, prompting the hospital to file a missing person report with the South African Police Service. Now, on May 18th, only a few days after he disappeared, it was only then when an unusual odor filled the hospital. The staff began tracing its source, eventually leading to a storage room. They found the stench was stronger once they were in there, and they found fluid dripping from the ceiling. That's when the staff discovered Sandile's decomposing body lodged into the hospital ceiling crawl space.
Once again, stuffed in the ceiling. I'm just saying, it's got to be the same person that did both.
Well, his death has since prompted serious questions and investigations, with security protocols at the hospital under scrutiny for how he might have accessed the ceiling, especially given his limited mobility due to the leg injury. An autopsy was conducted to understand more about the cause and time of death, but unfortunately his family did not want to release nor comment on what it revealed. So that incident remains unresolved, adding to a disturbing trend in South African hospitals. Investigators continue to look for answers, with both the hospital and family demanding accountability and clarity on what led to such a tragic outcome in a place of supposed safety. So in the end, we never found out. But there's been a lot of theories out there circulating that
Let's hear some of these.
Given the medical conditions both men were dealing with, one of the theory posed that their disappearances were a result of medical mishaps or negligence. In Teteke's case, his abdominal issues and medical treatment could have led to complications, possibly even death maybe, even though that would still be unexplained. Similarly to Sandile's leg injury, and subsequent treatment might have led to maybe fatal error or serious complication that was mishandled or concealed by hospital staff, leading his unexplained disappearance, right? That's the only one that kind of makes sense to me, because to me,
it's got to be somebody on the inside that,
right?
Yeah.
So the other theories are that the more mysterious and eerie theories suggest that both men's disappearance could be linked by supernatural forces, or maybe time travel. Some believe that these cases fit the pattern of unexplained vanishings that are sometimes attributed to paranormal phenomena, such as abductions by otherworldly entities or other dimensional shifts.
I'm sorry. So an
What,
alien...
you don't believe in time travel, bro?
Hold on. Time travel, yes. Because we all know the creator of The Simpsons is a time traveler. It's evident. But you're telling me an alien...
E.T. came by.
E.T. came by, and then he had one job.
Yeah.
put the body back in the bed.
In the crawl space.
And instead, as he put it back, all of a sudden he was like, for some reason, we just can't get past this section of the ceiling.
Never know. You never know. He could have gotten stuck on the way up. Who knows? This theory fits into the broader trend of mysterious disappearances that sometimes get linked to science fiction-like explanations. Now, Teteke's family, heartbroken and left with more questions than answers, were never given the full closure they deserved. They had to confront the reality that not only did their loved one pass away in a place meant for healing, but he did so under circumstances that don't make any type of sense. The community was left shaken. Many people now avoid Stellenbosch Hospital altogether, afraid that they too might vanish if they enter those doors.
Honestly, I would feel the same way. I'd want to avoid both because...
Yeah, I mean, at that point... Imagine the Google reviews on that. Sheesh.
Checked in, never came out. Like, checked in, got left in the ceiling.
Yeah, checked in. Don't know what I'm about to be in for. Like, no, it's bad.
They moved me to a crawl space saying that somebody would come get me.
Oh, God.
It's been
and
2 weeks.
You know what? Our generation and so forth are just not, we just don't take anything seriously.
No.
Nothing is, like, there's always a joke to be made about everything so bad. But I could just picture the Instagram stories of being at Stellenbosch Hospital. So bad. So bad. Peace sign.
Up in the ceiling.
It's like peace out or peace in.
You know, the ceiling is giving very demure, very mindful, very cutesy.
No, seriously. What you think about today's episode?
Honestly.
What's your theory?
Here's my theory. Definitely something with the hospital. The only...
Malpractice suit.
It's gotta be. Yeah. That's the only thing, the only logical thing, in my opinion, that makes full sense.
You don't believe in teleportation?
I do.
You don't believe in mysteries?
Hey, I do. Stewie Griffin showed me that you can teleport. So, my thing is, even if it was teleportation, Back to the Future, baby, they never...
Yeah, but that's a movie.
I get it. But also, who's going to teleport themselves when they're in pain?
I don't know. Maybe he wanted to tell... I don't know. So that's a good question.
That's why... I'm leaning towards...
He could have had an out-of-body experience, though.
Malpractice.
Okay.
Because...
That's the most logical, but sure.
To me, it comes across like some of the other stories that we hear where hospitals, unfortunately, have a bad rep.
Yeah, but 2 different hospitals at 2 different times. They could do that to people back to back.
You're right. That's why I'm saying... And maybe this is just me thinking that it's different on investigation strategies there versus... here, but to me, I'm immediately saying they're going, did everyone get analyzed? Did the doctors get analyzed? Did the nursing staff get analyzed?
Right.
Like,
there's very little information on
somewhere along lines there has to be a a red string that connects something. No matter how small, there's got to be some type of connection.
What if there just isn't? What if it just really
then it's just a freak of nature on the same, almost the exact same date, a year apart?
2 years apart.
2 years apart? Short-term memory. Sorry, guys.
Or are you just not listening because you're a man? No, joking.
That might be true.
Stop.
No. 2 years apart on almost the exact same date.
I know.
That to me is
just... It's But, like, what is so significant about that date, though? I don't get it. If that's why, to me, I'm like, if it was... a serial killer or whatever, I mean, I get you. The most logical point is that it was some malpractice. Something must have happened there. They had to cover it up. I don't think that's the smartest move, but who's to say that? No, I completely agree. I get it. But also, isn't it just so fun to think about a mystery?
You know,
if
I
you
would
try
love
to think about something other than logical.
I think aliens, right? And all I go and think about, they're smart. If it's something that's got the capability, because you figure we don't have any planet that is within a light year of traveling to us, okay? Therefore, and hopefully I don't blow your mind, therefore, any aliens that are able to get to our planet have far more advanced technology than we have because they're able to travel at light speed.
Okay, I get it. I'm
just saying.
But...
So if they did it, then they're...
So then why do aliens come here anyways just to come and abduct you and then just put you back? What's the point?
I don't know.
That's what I'm
personally,
saying.
I feel like...
There's answers. There's unsolved questions.
Because the way I see it is aliens are coming here. And again, if they got the tech to get here, they're coming here seeing where we are in life. And they're going, man...
That's rough.
You Earthers are way behind.
Yeah, they have all this advanced technology, why do they even bother coming here at all? And we've seen that
because Elon Musk is their leader.
We've seen that there has been, what is it now that the government has admitted, yeah, there are UFOs. There is something out there. I don't know. I'm just saying. Teteteke and Sandile. Who knows?
Why South Africa?
I don't know. Why not New Jersey? Why not North Carolina?
Area 51.
Why not Indiana?
Like,
why not Wisconsin?
They don't want cheese.
Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed today's episode because it seems like you did.
I gotta go to sleep with all these questions.
I know.
Man.
You're welcome. That's how I go to sleep every night.
I just want to reiterate to the listeners, every time we do these episodes, we are filming at night. So
for the ambiance.
Yes, whether you're listening to our episode at night is up to you. However, just know that my head now has to deal with every story we cover
right
as I try
bed.
to lay it down on a pillow so peacefully. You can ask Alejandra, I take my sleep very seriously. And now I go to sleep with all these questions lingering in my head that I'm going to have to try to fill with TikTok. That way I don't just go on a deep dive and then all of a sudden next thing I know
You're
my
up till
ADHD is
3 a.m.
hey, guess what? It's 5 a.m. And I'm like, oh, great.
Well, I'm glad I can help you with that. What is a wife meant for, Till death do us part, baby. For now, the questions remain a mystery. But one thing is clear, their story leaves us with an uneasy feeling that there's more to this world and to human actions than meets the eye. Thank you for joining us today on Macabre Mondays. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a story that's strange, sinister, or downright spooky, send it our way. You can email us at macabremondayspodcast@gmail.com or head over to macabremondays.com to submit your story. Yours just might be featured in an upcoming listener episode.
Follow us on social media by searching Macabre Mondays for photos of today's episode. There's not many because it was really hard to find.
Sounds like it.
For any updates and a little extra spooky fun, stay tuned for more mystery just around the corner. We'll see you next Monday for another sinister, strange, and spooky episode. And just remember, some mysteries were never meant to be solved. Until then, stay curious and stay safe. Bye, everyone.
See ya.
Before we end today's episode, we'd like to thank the sources that helped us bring this chilling mystery to life. A special shout out to Mr. Ballin's YouTube episode, which provided a gripping overview of the Teteteke Gqotsi and Sandile Sibiya cases. His insight into the eerie and unexplained is invaluable and really helped us piece together the details in a way that captured the mystery's essence. We also referenced local news sources, hospital interviews, law enforcement statements, and articles that detailed the timeline of events like Medical Brief, and IOL. These were crucial to helping us understand the hospital's role and the mysterious disappearances that followed.